Hi folks, this is Karim Rao from IT Visualizer channel. Today we'll begin our sixth video. Okay, before the last lab we did already install the domain controller and the DHCP, and we have created the users, the groups, the group policy. Okay, so this video we will install the second domain controller for redundancy. There will be a secondary DNS. There will be a DHCP failover secondary, or the master and the slave, as we can name it. And then we will have the file server. It will be installed on the second domain controller. Okay. And we will create the department shares, the home users home folder share. Okay, and we will begin working with the DAC, dynamic access control list. Okay, this will be the in future lab, but it will be the beginning for working with the DAC rules. And then we will also install the ADRMS right management service for Microsoft. So let's begin. Okay, here is the video. We will play. As I said before, I have all my videos recorded without sound or without audio, and then I will begin commenting. First video is English and the second one will be with Arabic. Now we are installing or creating the second virtual machine, which will host our secondary domain controller. It will be HP Zen Serve Bot 2. Okay, actually if you saw my first video or the second video, we will repeat the same process for creating a virtual machine and installing the system. Okay, so I will have our virtual machine, we'll have it 1 gig and 100 gigs for the operating system hard disk. Okay, and then we will customize, because I don't have a lot of cores or processors, so I have only one core processor. 4, so I have one for the first virtual machine and the second for the second virtual machine. The network adapter, we will connect it to our internal network, which is 192.168.2.0. so we have already give it the hard disk, and then we have choose the network, but still we will do some additional setting. As I say, in the first virtual machine we will make a mirror, so we have this hard disk will be for the operating system, and we had another hard disk to be as a mirror for the operating system. Okay, just making sure that this virtual disk will be in the same folder for the virtual machine. By the way, it's all of the virtual machines are in one folder. It's in documents. Okay, virtual machines. Okay, and I will put the second hard disk with its previous hard disks. Okay, now we have 2, and then we will add also, in before a previous lab I have already 4 hard disks, and make RAID 10 for the data. We will make another drive and call it D for the data, and these 4 hard disks we will make it as RAID 10. This was done before in the second lab. Okay, we will add 20, everyone will be as 20 gigs. Just put every hard disk in with its virtual machine folder. But this lab will be faster. I have done this before, but this lab it will be faster than the other lab, because the first lab I was just trying the solution for the RAID 1 and RAID 10 for the first time. I didn't do this before through the Windows, but now it will be faster. So now I am adding another network adapter to make network teaming. This is done also in the second lab to make network team. As I said before, this is for redundancy. So you have 2 network adapters, okay, and there is teaming. So if one of them failed, the other will work, so the network connection will not be down. So we have done all of our redundancy process. Okay, we'll put the ISO image for the Windows Server 2019. Okay, I have is this one. This is the latest update. It's 29/12/2019. This is for December, the December version. Actually, there is another one now for Jan 2020. Maybe I have downloaded it and maybe I will use it later in other labs. So now we power on the virtual machine and press enter to boot from DVD. So this is our second domain controller. This will host our file server share. Okay, next, and install. We will choose the data center with English with GUI. Next, accept agreement, and custom installation. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 hard disk. We will choose the first one. We will be 100 gigs and make it as one partition, 100 gigs. And as I said before, the second hard disk also is the same space, 100 gigs will be as a mirror. So we will choose and then tell him next. I'm just making sure that I have choose the correct hard disk. Okay, and then next. Then we'll pause the video until the installation finishes. Mainly we are repeating the same process for creating the first virtual machine and the first domain controller, but we will do this in a quick way so it will not take so much time. Consider this as a revision for what we did before. Okay, now we pause every now and then. So now it's finished. It'll take a little bit of time. We will pause again. So here, this is the local administrator password. We will put it. And I said before, from security point, you have to rename this username and put a password. Finalizing. First thing to do when you're installing a virtual machine in VM workstation, or even if you're working on a vSphere, you have to install the VMware tools. This is very critical for compatibility. The graphic drivers, the sound drivers, the compatibility between the host and the guest, and the sharing issue between the host and the guest, all of this is facilitated or is done through the VMware tools. So now we have first we log into the first virtual machine. Then we, as I said before, we will install VMware tools. Install. It will take some time. I will pause the video until now it's there. Okay, install, run the setup. Okay, installing the VMware tools. Next, complete, and next, install. As you see, after you install the VMware tools, the display will be automatically reconfigured. The display will reflect the correct screen resolution. So here I have 1366 by 698. As the flickering, yes, when it flickers, you will see that the display is changed. Okay. As we have installed the the VM tools. We now add share. As I said before, I want to have a share folder between the host, my laptop, and the virtual machine, which contains all of my scripts and the folder that we work from. Okay, we'll make a shutdown. I will make shutdown because I can't share the folder between my laptop and the virtual machine. This should be done when the virtual machine is off or is powered off. As I said before, this will be done from the virtual machine tools. Let's see here. Yes, from the edit virtual machine setting and from options. Okay, and then we will go to the share folders. We will enable map as a drive. As I said before, it will be mapped as a network drive. Then we will choose the host bus, which is the folder that I need to share with my virtual machine. This is the folder that contains the scripts. This is transformers, as I said before. The folder that we will use through all our lab AD collection. Yes, but I share the whole folder. AD collection contains all of my scripts and all of my labs, but including the transformers. Okay, and you will power on again the virtual machine. So now the virtual machine it's partially ready. We have the system installed. We have the VMware tools installed. So we need to make the name. We need to change the name of the server and to make network teaming and to set the IP statically or manually. All this will be done in a second. We Control Alt Delete, then put the password. So now to do some settings, just to make this PC appear on my desktop and the control panel and the network icon, just for organizing the desktop and for future using. Okay, so I don't need to go to start and then get the control panel. Everything will be on the desktop for facilitating. Okay. So now we will open the server manager and begin changing the name of the server. First we will do the teaming, network teaming. We will click on local server. Local server. First, we will enable the remote desktop. This is done in production. You have to enable remote desktop so you can make a remote session to it. Okay. And then we will enable the network teaming and IC teaming and change the name. We can do this alternatively or in the same time. Okay, we will HP Gen server Gen 8. I need to put 8 Gen 8 server bot 2. This will be the name for the second domain controller. We will not join the domain until we put in the static IP address. Okay. Okay, we'll not restart until we finish the network teaming. Okay, we will restart. Because I did before change the name and then change the IP address, there was some conflict that appears for me, so we can change the name and then we can make the network team. So now we'll open the server manager again and we'll make the network team, and the IP address will be 192.168.2.9. The first domain controller is 192.2.8. Here we have network team. Okay, enable, and we will choose or select the two network adapters and add the network team. Strangely, in Hyper-V it was 10 gigs. I don't know why it's making the speed 1 GBs, but I think there is a way to change it to 10, but I will see later. Maybe I will Google it and see. Okay, we'll make address hash. As I said before, this is the only option available when you are working with virtual machines, when you are making teaming. But in production, you can choose any one of the three options, but only this is available, address hash, when you are working with virtual machine. This is also noticed when I was working with Hyper-V. Okay, so now we have done the network teaming. We will go to the network connection, which is named HP network team, and first I choose best the small icons view, and then we will choose network and sharing, and we will open the HP team connection, and we will get to the TCP/IP properties, and then we will put the IP address. I said before it's 192.168.2.9, and then close. Just revising the setting. We'll make a restart just to make this automatic IP disappear. So here, as I said before, we have a shared, this is the shared folder between, or the map folder between my host, the laptop, and the virtual machine. Here I just installed the classic shell just to make the start menu looks like Windows 7. Let's make the user more familiar. We'll use it in our production for the workstations or the domain workstations. And also we have a group policy that will change or correct the setting or limit the setting of this classic shell. Next, and I will install the Firefox as a second browser. If you want to work with the group policy of Firefox, or you add or as a second browser. Okay, install it. and after that we'll make a restart. Okay, first of all we'll do some setting. I will just enable the right click. After you install the classic shell, the right click disappears from the start menu. Right click. Okay, it will appear. Restart. We'll pause the video and return back. Put the password. So now we revise the network setting to see the IP addresses. So the next step after doing all of this, we will begin mirroring the operating system for redundancy. And I said before, this is done through the Windows. Okay, if you have an HP server, it will contain the hardware mechanism for doing the mirror and the RAID 10, which is called Smart Array. Okay, so this is much better, but if you don't have a hardware mechanism for this, you can do it through the software. But of course, if you have a hardware mechanism, it will be better. So here is the second hard disk. We will just make it online and initialize it, and then we'll begin the process of mirroring. Okay, if you see my lab before, we have here four partitions: the recovery and the EFS partition, and there is a small partition called system, and there is the C. So to begin mirroring, you will have the first three partitions to create it on the second hard disk, which we'll call disk 1, and then copy all of the contents of the three original partitions, recovery and EFS and the system, to the secondly created replica or copy of them. We will see now. And I said before, this will be, I will put it in the transformers folder for reference if you want to use it. We will make the whole process through the command line, through the command called diskpart. This is mainly used for partitioning and working with hard disks. Okay, we will first select, first we'll copy the partition, copy the command. First we will go to the command, make it, run it as an administrator, cmd, and then diskpart. Okay, here we will select the first hard disk, which is our operating system hard disk. We'll select partition 1, this is the recovery partition, the first partition. Sorry, the partition 1, it's the whole hard disk, it's only one partition. And then we will see the details of this partition. Okay, he will give you the type. We will need to copy this, so when we will make another recovery partition on the new hard disk, we will put this ID on it, so to be an exact copy of it. We will see that in a moment. Just take the type ID and put it in text file. So after that, we will select the new hard disk, which is called disk 1. Here you go, we will connect disk 1. Okay, and first of all, before doing this, we have to know if our hard disk partition is working with MBR or is working with GUID or working with EFI. So I know before this is working through GUID. Okay, so here we will convert to GBT. Okay, it's already in GBT, so this is the error that appears. I said before, we have two ways. If you are MBR, you will use the first steps, or if you are working with GUID or GBT, we will work with these steps. Okay, so now we selected the partition. We have only the disk 1, it's only one partition, and we will delete partition override, and then we will create the first volume which it will be the recovery partition, to be as the same original recovery partition. We will work now, will say that the first disk 0 partitions will record it original and the second will record the replica. Okay, so we are creating now the recovery partition replica. Okay, we have already make it 499 megabyte, the same as the original, and they will format it as NTFS and name it as recovery. We will see all of this when we open the disk management. So it's now formatted in NTFS and we call it recovery. And then we will take the type ID that we had before in the text file and put it on the replica recovery partition. First we will select the partition and then we will set the type ID the same as the original recovery partition. We will see that in a moment in the disk management. So now we have set the ID. Now it's set. After that, we will copy the original recovery contents to the recovery replica partition the volume that we did now. We will see now. We will select. First, before that, we will have to assign a letter for the recovery original partition. Why? Because to differentiate between the original and the replica, because after that we will copy what in the original to the replica. So now he is selecting the first hard disk, partition 1, which is the original recovery partition, and then we assign a letter Q to it. Okay, and then we will go to our mirror hard disk or the second hard disk, and we will assign to the recovery replica volume to be R. So the original will be Q and the replica will be R. And then after that we will exit the command or the disk part utility and begin copying from the Q partition, the recovery original partition, to the replica recovery partition. Copy all of the contents of the recovery partition. Okay, exit. And then we will work. If you see now, we have two recovery partitions with the same name, and it will be Q and R. So now we will begin copying the contents from Q to R. It will work with RoboCopy. Like I said before, it contains some switches. This is very important because it contains all of the data. Okay, or there is a meaning to these switches, but I think it means that it copies all the contents with all of the security permission and all of this. Okay, so we have already copied the partition, a copy of the recovery original partition to the recovery replica partition. Now we will begin creating the second partition. First of all, which is the EFI system partition. This is the second volume or the second one. Select disk 0, partition 2. First of all, you will list the partition to see. So now we have partition 1 created. We will choose the second partition, which is system. We will create 2 and 3, system and reserved. One is 99 gigs and 99 megabyte, and the other is 16 megabyte. So we now select the second hard disk and we will create exactly the same space. 2 per 2, we will create 2 partitions, 199 and one is 16, and we'll make it as 99 megabyte. Okay, so now we have this one. This is the EFI created. We will format it as FAT and give it letter T, just to also differentiate it between the original EFI system partition and the replica EFI system partition. So now we have already done this. We will assign it as letter T. The original will be I think it will be S. Yes, The replica is T, EFS system replica, and the original will be S. Okay, we now create the second partition, which will be MSR partition. It will be 16. So now we will go to the first partition and give it an assigned letter S, as I said before. So the original FI system partition will be T, and the replica will be S. So we will, and after that, after we create that, we will copy what's in letter S to letter T. The same as we did in the recovery partition. We will see this also in the end. We will see in the disk management how we will have an exact uh, partition structure and volume structure between the original operating system and the mirror. We will have exact copies. So now we will exit and then we'll begin copying from S partition to T partition. Okay, so now we see we have two partitions, yes, 99 and the other one, EFI system and the replica, the same exact. So as we see now, we have another issue that all of this partition appears after we give them a drive letter. So we don't need this to appear to the user. So after finishing all of the partitioning and mirroring, we will remove these drive letters. So it will be hidden from the user. So we don't need the user to play with this something or delete something from these partitions. So now we will copy, as I said before, from partition S to partition T. So now we have already done the first part of mirroring for the recovery and EFI system partition and the MSR partition. So the last step will be to mirror the drive C, okay, to the remaining space on the second hard disk. So now we have 99.40. First of all, we need to convert disk 0 or our original operating system partition to be dynamic, and also to change our disk 1 or mirror hard disk to be dynamic. Okay, okay, and then we right click on the C and make add mirror. We will choose disk 1 and add mirror. This process we will have something called syncing between the original partition and the replica partition. This will take some time, so I have to pause the video until it finishes. So now it is healthy. Now all the syncing. Now we have a mirror, complete mirror solution finished. So first of all, we need to, after we finish the mirroring process, we will go and remove all of the drive letters, the S and Q and R and T. So these partitions will not be available to the user or will not appear to the user. They are physically there and they will appear in disk management, but they will not appear to the user. Okay, so we will select the first hard disk, which contains the Q and R. Select disk 0 and we select, we list the partitions. Okay, we'll select partition 1 and then we will remove the Q letter. It's an automatic process, so it's not automatic process, it's something like regular, or you can repeat the process. It's a repeated process. Just select the disk and then select the partition and then remove the drive letter. So here we will remove letter Q from the partition 1 on disk 0. This is the original hard disk. Okay, it's removed. Then we will go to the mirror partition, which is disk 1. First I will just check that if it's removed or not. Oh, so here is the Q is removed. Okay, so we have the R and S and T. So we will go to disk 1, which is the mirror hard disk. Select disk 1, first partition, select disk 1, select partition 1, which is the recovery partition replica. Okay, remove letter equal it's R. Remove the R and enter. Now we repeat the process with the remaining volumes. Select disk 1 and then select partition 2, which is the EFI system partition. First list, if you're not sure which partition you are selecting, you can make list partition command. So we'll choose the second partition. Okay, and then remove letter Q. Remove letter R, sorry. Just make sure you can return back. Okay, it's the letter. Okay, sorry, letter S. R is removed. S. And then we will select disk 1. And then list partitions. S and then the T for the replica. Yes, this second one is the select partition 2. And then remove letter T. So now we have only one partition remaining, it's the T. So now we have removed all the drive letters. We can now say that the whole process of the mirroring is finished. Okay, we have only, so the mirror partition will not appear, of course. Okay, it will appear only in disk management. So now we will begin working with the RAID 10 process to create or to combine the 4 hard disks to be as one partition. Okay, to be for the data volume. This will be D. First of all, I need to change the CD-ROM drive letter not to be D, because this will be taken to the data volume. Now that we will create from the 4 partitions, the 4 hard disks, as we said before, to be RAID 10. So it's now will be E. Yes. Then we will begin the RAID 10 process. As we said before, we have 4 hard disks. Everyone is 20 gigs. First of all, you're just revising. We have all of them an exact replica. So now to make the RAID 10, we have to open. First, we'll make a restart. We will see a little change in the boot menu. You will have 2 selections, one for the first hard disk and one for the second hard disk. For any reason, if the here, as we said, this Windows Server and Windows Server secondary plex. Okay, if for any reason the first partition fails, you have to break the mirror and then change the boot menu to boot from the second hard disk, which is the mirror hard disk. Okay, to work safely. Okay, this is also in the PDF. You will see that it contains a link for tutorial or a tutorial on how to break the mirror and change the boot menu to boot from the second hard disk or the mirror hard disk. So now we'll begin the process. We are restarting and we will work with the RAID 10 to combine the 4 hard disks to be in one partition or one volume, working with RAID 10. If anyone needs to know what is RAID 1 and RAID 10, you can return back to my second video or just Google it and see what is RAID 1 and RAID 10. So now we will Ctrl-Alt-Delete, put the password. We will make this through the Server Manager console. All of this is a preparation before promoting this server to be a domain controller. And as I said before, backup and security are two critical points or critical issues every IT has to take consideration when doing anything. So now we will open the server manager. RAID 10 will be done through the storage pool. Okay, this is done through the server manager. First, we will open disk management. We need to make the 4 hard disks online and initialize them. Okay, every hard disk. Right click online and initialize. Okay, we make it a GBT. Well, GBT is the latest, okay, or the MBR it's a little bit old. Okay, so most of the servers are working with and PCs are working with the GBT. Okay, so we will initialize online and initialize. Okay, initialize disk. Okay, this is partition disk 4 and disk 5, the latest one or the last one. Sorry, the last one, not the latest one. Okay, online, then initialize. Okay, so now we will get to the server manager. Okay, and as I said before, we have 4 partitions. We will work from the storage pool. We will take every 2 hard disks and put them in a pool or in a box, a specific box. Okay, here we will take the first 2 hard disks and make them in one pool. As I said before, you can return to my second video to know what is the storage pool and how it is done. We will make storage pool 1. Okay, this is the first pool, what contains the 2 hard disks. Okay, it's 40 gigs. Okay, we will create it. After creating the pool, it will be 38.5. Okay, we will take the second and the third and fourth hard disk and make it in another pool. Storage pool 2. Next, so, and then we will create the second pool. So now we have 2 pools. We will select the first pool and then we'll make after that a virtual hard disk. This is still a hard disk, we didn't create volume yet, so differentiate between the volume and the hard disk. Okay, we have created a virtual hard disk. This will be mirror 1. You will see later why I named it mirror. Okay, the virtual disk will be called mirror 1. Next, so here this virtual hard disk, we will make it as a mirror. Okay, so the remaining space in the pool will be used for mirroring. Okay, we'll select it as a mirror. Okay, and we will take this to be half, it will be thin. Okay, and then we'll next, it will be half of the space, divided 3.38.5 on 2, so you have half of, because we will have half of the space and the other one will be used for mirroring. We have 338.5 divided 2, we will have 38.5 divided 2, so it'd be 19.25. Leave some space, no, don't take 19.5 exactly, leave 1 or 2 gigs for the caching. The virtual disk may take additional space to create a write back cache. Okay, so we will make it 16 or 17. Okay, and next, as I said before, this is for the write back cache. Next, so now we have created the virtual disk. We will do the same process for the storage pool 2. Okay, here we will ask you, after creating the virtual disk. If you need to create a volume, now we will create a volume. We name it D, okay, and we format it as NTFS, and then create. So now this is done for the first pool. We will repeat the process for the second pool as well. We'll do the same process. It's called mirror 2, and we will do the same process. So we'll have two drivers, or two volumes will be D and E. In a couple of seconds we will remove these two volumes, but first of all let's put it as 17. We'll remove these two volumes. I will make it as one volume, but let's wait and see. So now we have the first pool, and it contains a mirror, and the second pool, it contains a mirror also. So we have two mirrors. Here we will make it the second virtual disk as drive E. Okay, drive F because the E is for the DVD-ROM. Okay, and next and create. So now we have already make the mirror. So after that we have two D and E, D and F. For the red 10 to work, we will remove this volume D and this volume F, as we will see in a couple of seconds, and then we will make them as one partition combined, called the stripped volume. Okay, please return to my previous video or the second video and know what is. First we will delete the volume D. We will just remove it, and we will remove the E or F volume, sorry. And so now we have two hard disks, okay, completely without any 16.8, and then the other 16 will make a strip volume. So the issue is that you are making two mirrors first through pools, and then take these mirrors and make it as a strip volume. Please return to my previous video and see how is red 10 is created, okay, and what is the meaning of red 10. I have already done this in a previous video, and also the website that explains all of this is in the video also. I will also put this in the transformers volume. Okay, so now we'll make a strip volume. We'll take hard disk 6 and 7 and make it as a strip volume, and this will be as D volume. Okay, we'll format it as NTFS. Next, and then finish. You will change them to dynamic disk. So now we have two partitions appears as D. Okay, so we have mirror and we have red 10. So now the whole server is ready from the backup point and from the security issue, or the backup point or the security point also. So we have all of this prepared. We will see also we have two partitions, C is mirrored and D is red 10. So the server is partially ready. Okay, so to promote it to as a domain, to install the second domain controller, okay, and begin the process of creating the file server share role. Just open the server manager to revise the setting. You see the name of the server is there, the IP is there, the network teaming is there, the RAID is there, RAID 1 and RAID 10, so everything seems to be ready. So now I think the video is over. I think I will first of all, you have to take a snapshot. This should be done before making RAID 1 and RAID 10, just to back up the system if anything happens during the mirror process or the RAID process. So this has to be done, but we'll make one before mirroring. I forgot this, and we'll make also another snapshot before joining the domain. As I said before, a snapshot is like a complete backup, okay? So you have to take a complete backup before mirroring and a complete backup before joining a domain. So now the video is over. Thank you so much. We will meet later in the second lab or the seventh lab for creating the second domain controller and making the DHCP failover and make the file share server role, creating the share folders and the quota and the block for the audio. All of this will be done after. Sorry, this plan the seventh video. We will. Sorry. Seventh video we will meet later in the seventh video. Thank you so much.